What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome if it's your first time here. You get the excuse how I sound this morning? This congestion in my head is real. I've been out mowing and weeding for the last couple of days, and that pollen and all that dust has went into my sinus cavities and it's causing some major congestion in my head. And I sound like I'm talking in a 5-gallon bucket, as they say. But hopefully, you'll pay more attention to the message instead of the way I sound. But guys, we've been talking about this food crisis for 2 years now. We've known this was coming, and anyone watching my channel for that length of time who hasn't prepared actually deserves what they get, because I preach this over and over again, telling everyone, giving proof, showing absolutely positively what is coming. And if you haven't paid any attention and you haven't done anything and keep hoping that it's going to get better and you've decided to do nothing, that's a choice. You made that choice, and that consequences for making that choice is completely on your shoulders. I beat myself up here for months because a lot of people wasn't preparing. A lot of people wasn't preparing enough. And I didn't want to see anybody starve, and I still don't. I don't want to see anybody suffer. But if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, and you haven't been prepping, haven't been stockpiling, haven't been trying to build your self-reliance, then that consequences is on your shoulders. When your family, when your children are hungry, it's you. It wasn't me. I can't blame myself because I've tried to get the message across. I've tried to do everything I can to get people to prepare. And if you don't, and you haven't, then I can't stop. I can't do anything about that. That's a choice you made. So don't be thinking that you're going to come and try to take from someone else because you haven't prepared. You haven't done anything. The responsibility is yours. You are an adult. It's time to take responsibility for your own self and for your family and see what's coming without having those rose-colored glasses on, and stockpile, prepare. It's more expensive now than it was. There's less selection now than there were. So it's going to be more difficult. The longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be to actually prepare. But this article here is a great article that actually covers what I've been talking about for the last couple of years here in great detail. This guy does some excellent research and excellent writing to put this together, and I suggest you all go read this article in its entirety. Link in the description box below. Corey's Digs. New controlled food system is now in place, and they will stop at nothing to accelerate their control. And that's what it's all about, guys. Full control. They want to control the currency. That's why they want to get rid of cash, and they want to go to a new centralized digital currency that they can control and monitor and use to force their social credit score system to get everyone to comply with everything they want. Their climate agenda, their COVID agenda. They want to be able to use the currency to control what everyone does, what everyone thinks, everyone's actions. Give them just about full total control over the economy if they have that centralized digital currency. They also want to control the food supply. They want to own everything and you own nothing, and they'll be happy, but you won't. Their saying is, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, but that is completely incorrect. It should be you'll own nothing. You'll be sad and depressed, trying to commit suicide and starving and broke and living homeless, while we will be happy. That's what this true saying is. But if we all know, they always try to paint these pictures of something great and beneficial for, the population, or trying to do good, trying to save humanity, when in reality, it's all about their control, their power, and their wealth. New controlled food system is now in place, and they will stop at nothing to accelerate their control. Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. This famous quote by Henry Kissinger is ringing more and more true by the week. The globalists already control the majority of the money, are moving ever so swiftly to convert the energy system over into systems they all are invested in and have more control over. And they have been taking drastic measures to control the food industry while running much of it under the radar. If they control the seeds, they control the food. If they control the food, they can use the digital ID to control consumer access to the food. while a rash of fires suddenly destroy food processing, meat, and fertilizer plants during a time where farmers are hurting and supply chain issues are kicking in. An entire traceable food infrastructure system has already been built in multiple cities and is making its way across the globe. And that's another thing, guys. They want to be able to control and know where every grain goes to, every seed goes to through tracking. Imagine a day where farmers markets no longer exist. You can't drive over to your local farmer to buy produce or cuts of meat, and the only food growing outside of the globalist secured indoor vertical farming and lab grown meat facilities is in your windowsill garden or greenhouse. And that's the key to our survival. And I'm sure that when they get this infrastructure, this control grid set up and controlling the food, this may become illegal. So it's hard to tell what they're going to do, but they don't want anyone being independent. So your windowsill gardening, your backyard gardening, or your greenhouse could be treated like you're growing, illegal plants, like, say, for instance, marijuana. It could be the same thing. It could actually ban growing your own food. And they will use some excuse that it isn't environmentally friendly or something like that, and it's causing climate change or something. They will use some excuse and then come after your food production. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it definitely could happen, especially when they get this full control, or as much as they can possibly get. Then they will come after, your homegrown garden, your homegrown produce. Kind of like they're doing right now with the poultry farms. They're using the PCR test to test for bird flu. And they come in with the PCR test. We know how that thing works. We should, but now everyone should. And they say, whoops, positive. We've got to kill 200,000 chickens, 100,000 turkeys. We've got to kill these and cull these, and boom, it's over with. And the price of meat goes up. Availability of the meat goes down. And like I said before, it's one thing after another. One attack on the food supply after another. And it's too many things happening to be coincidence. It has to be on purpose. We've had cyber attacks on food production, on shipping facilities, on warehouses. We've had many different fires in those same type facilities. We've had an airplane actually fly into one of those facilities. We've had drought out west. It keeps getting worse and worse. Weather warfare. We've had this war going on in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia right now. That's affecting, the planting of wheat and the exportation of those grains. It's also affecting the exportation of fertilizer, which Russia is one of the largest fertilizer exporters in the world, and they've cut that off. And without, those chemical-based fertilizers, the crop will definitely suffer. The yield will definitely suffer. That oil, diesel for those tractors and machinery to work those fields, that chemical fertilizer is what's allowed the number of people to actually be fed that is in the world today, and they're cutting that off because they want to starve everyone out. It's all planned agenda to control the food supply. They want to crash the economy. That way they can come in with the solution, which is a new centralized digital currency. They want to crash the food supply system where they can come in with their new solution, and that is their lab-grown food. Problem, action, solution. They cause a problem, and they offer the solution. And the solution is always for their benefit and not for yours. It's the way they control things. If you break things down so severely that people are broke, homeless, starving, people will do anything to be wealthy, to be comfortable, and to be fed again. When they come in after this all collapses, and they'll come in and say, we have to implement this new world globalist control structure system. They won't call it that, but it's exactly what it is. They'll say we need to overhaul the currency. We need a complete overhaul of the food supply system. We need to do this right now so this never happens again. And what it will be is they will gain even more control, more wealth, and more power, and you will be more poor, more sad, and living a more pathetic life. Unfortunately, that's the plan they have. So when they say, they've said, you own nothing and be happy, the true saying should be, You'll own nothing. You'll be sad and depressed and suicidal, homeless and starving, and we'll be happy. That's what the true saying should be. But this guy here goes through all kinds of different things, guys, about this, and he is definitely on point in this article. You can see here the companies that control most of the food that we see on the store shelves. And I'll run through here, guys, all kinds of different information, and it is a great article. I'm not going to read this complete article because, I respect your time. I try to keep these videos under 12 minutes long most of the time, so I can read this whole article, but you can go read it yourself and probably understand it more better if you read it your own self than if I did. But you can go back, if you read a paragraph, you don't understand it, you can go back and read it again. So go read this article, guys, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you preparing? Are you getting ready? Have you done anything? Are you prepared to feed your family? Are you prepared to be as self-reliant as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can? I don't know how this is going to all turn out. I know their game plan. I know what they want. But I'm not sure how bad it's going to get, how it's going to turn out. I think it's going to be bad. And if it is biblical, if this is, the book of Revelation being lived through right now, it's happening right now. If that is the case, then we know what's going to happen. They're going to take full control. There's going to be a mark to buy and sell. There's going to be the Antichrist. They're going to rise up and take power for 7 years, and then Christ is going to come back. If this isn't that we're living through, and it definitely seems like it is, and they definitely have the technology now to implement this and have such a system in place. If it isn't, then, I don't know how bad it's going to get. We'll have to wait and see. No one knows everything. I don't know everything. I don't claim to. I just read, research, try to use common sense, and try to figure these things out, and try to get my message across to you all, let you know what I'm thinking. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, found it useful, give it a big thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. I'm the Creekmore. I'm out of here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.